Hi there. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Ben. I'm 28 years of age from Perth, Western Australia. If you know me from Perth, nice to see you again. I am living and have been living in India for most of the past 7-8 years. I tried to do a YouTube live, but it was cut in half, and the quality was not so good, so I thought I'd make this video on my experience of yoga, meditation, how I came to India, and my experience of all that. So some context, my life before I got into meditation was like normal, what a normal Western society would be. I was drinking on weekends, I was smoking weed, and doing most of the things you would do with friends, just normal everyday things. I did surfing, skateboarding, enjoying, but had some issues. I went through some counseling as well for weed smoking, which was quite supportive actually. And I was on antidepressants for some time and went through difficult stages, but sort of came through that, and I had a girlfriend at the time as well, so everything seemed fine for me. But in 2017, which was the most difficult year of my, I guess, life at that time, so in the space of 6 months, that relationship ended with that woman, and I lost my job. I broke my leg as well. So quite significant things happened in that year, just in the space of 6 months. So very brutal year, but somehow made it through. But so around the time after this relationship ended, I was back seeing the counselor, and she had mentioned before, I think she had mentioned previously also, a previous year, because I'd seen her for quite some time, just on and off. She had mentioned about meditation, but I never took her seriously. I was enjoying the sessions, but I never really thought, I could meditate, or I never was interested. But for some reason, one day I was washing the dishes in the kitchen, and I had a sort of a realization, like I felt like I had tried everything, and I just thought back to what my counselor had said, and that I should meditate, and suddenly I got the desire to do so. And so I started doing an app called Smiling Mind, and I did that for some time. It was good. It was like mindfulness. It gave me a lot of experiences, and after that I started doing some meditations on my own, and it really opened up my world to possibilities. Because in that moment where I was washing the dishes and I thought, okay, now I need to do something else, it seemed like I had tried everything. And there's a famous yoga guru called Patanjali, and he's one of the most famous books on yoga called the Yoga Sutras. It says "and now yoga." The book starts with "and now yoga," which means you've tried everything. Which I mean everything I don't know, but I had that feeling like that. So that was my "and now yoga" moment, and so yeah, I had some experiences and I was enjoying that, but these other two situations happened, this losing my job and breaking my leg. So I must have been searching meditation music, I don't know the exact video I saw, and I came across Sadhguru and Isha Foundation, and I never heard someone speak with so much clarity and wisdom. I have a good family. I've listened to philosophers like Alan Watts, and I had heard people speak, but never have I heard someone speak with the same clarity and wisdom about everyday things and making it seem so simple. Such complex things he would speak about, but in such a simple way, and it's like unbelievable. I couldn't believe it, how this person exists. So I started doing his meditations and had some really profound experiences, and I ended up doing a course called Inner Engineering Online, which is like a 7-step process, and yeah, I had unbelievable experiences with that. And that led me to, I flew to Melbourne and I did the 4-day in-person course where they taught a certain meditation called Shambhavi Mahamudra, which is a Kriya, which is a certain type of meditation, which is very powerful, very, very powerful. And now they're actually offering that online as well. So part of the online program, you can also learn that meditation. It wasn't like that at that time. So I began doing this, and yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. I was staying in such a bad motel. It was the funniest thing. I was in Melbourne. I just chose some random motel, and I was staying in the most terrible, not terrible, but like it was like very poor area, I would say, of Melbourne, and on the other hand, I was going to this meditation course, so I had the best of both worlds, from absolute sort of poor and like people yelling in the hallways and like being sort of scared to go outside, or someone breaking into my room, to then going to the session where I was, everyone was happy and blissful, and I was learning meditation to go beyond all the struggles of life. It was a very weird thing to experience. So pretty much after that, I got the longing to go to where the heart of this yoga, or the heart of this foundation was, which was in India, which obviously people know of India as like a religion, like they have a strong religion, but in my understanding now, it's like the Mecca of human well-being. It seems that everything sprouted out of that. So I went there, and just being there was unbelievable for me. I saw this guru live, which I had tears in my eyes, because like very profound things he offered me. These meditations, they come from Sadhguru, and they come from people who have passed down that tradition over many thousands of years. Which, to point out, like India is one of the most oldest traditions, so it's 15,000 years plus this this tradition of teaching yoga, meditation, has been passed down. So when I saw him, cried a lot, but it was a very beautiful experience. So I stayed there for 4 or 5 months. I went back, I came back again for a couple of months, and then I went back at the end of 2018 back to Australia, and was there for Christmas. So 2019 I came back again, and this time I did some advanced programs, which is really beautiful. There's an advanced program called Bhava Spandana. It's a 4-day program. Most of the programs, the in-person programs, are 4 days, like 2 full days and 2 sort of half days. So I attended this Bhava Spandana, and just my experience deepened, and that was sort of like an unbelievable experience. If inner engineering was a big experience, it's like Bhava Spandana was like sort of unbelievable. So much happiness, so much energy, and all the things that just simply dancing without any without any drink or drug. And that's when I realized that you can actually, if you just listen to music and dance, you can just in that dance itself, you can be so happy. So before I started meditating, I always thought that you would need to be whatever, drunk or taken ecstasy or MDMA or something of that nature. So I realized that need not be the case. So I did a few more advanced programs. I had done one advanced program in 2018 also. So after this Bhava Spandana program, I traveled north, because the yoga center is in the south of India. I traveled north to one of my close friends' house, and from there we were with a few other foreigners as well who were in India at the time, who I had made friends with. We traveled to different places, Pune, where, if people know of Osho, we visited the Osho Ashram. We went to this, I think it's Kailasa temple, which is it's a temple in India that's thousands and thousands of years old, and it's a rock that's been carved from the top itself. So it's not like built from stone, like stacked on top of each other. It's literally how they did it, we don't know, but they carved out the rock itself and made a full temple into the rock, which is like unbelievable. So we visited places like that. We went to Himalayas, to a famous temple called Kedarnath, and it was really nice experience traveling and meeting and seeing so many crazy sights, because India is very chaotic place. People kind of, I'm sure it's on a lot of people's bucket list to go to India, but they, I'm sure that people have, I guess around Australia, people want to see, and there's America and other countries, but yeah, India is the place. If you have some inclination to spirituality, or if you have even just natural sights, but if you really want to see like one of the deepest culture of of well-being and tradition and richness of culture, India is the place for sure. It can be difficult traveling. It's hot obviously in many places in the cities, but if you go to like mountainous areas, and there's many hill stations that are they're also cool, and one of the biggest things is crowd sizes. It's very difficult. People stare at you non-stop if you have skin like mine. Sometimes I wish I just had brown skin so I can freely move, especially now I live in India. But yeah, like it's one of the difficult things is the amount of people. But if you can sort of catch a taxi, or if you can get first class train tickets, which is for Western people it's not as expensive, then you can move little freely, like if you plan your travels well, if you have a good support, and if you have any questions, I can sort of help you with that. So yeah, after 2019 I went back again. In 2020 I came back. During COVID time I was in the ashram, which is, I realize, is not only it's a blessing, you know, having meditation and yoga in my life for COVID-19, just being in ashram also, which is such a safe place. You know, they closed the gates, so only, you know, only we were there. The public wasn't really allowed inside because of the safety issues. So it was such a blessing being in the ashram at that time. I guess I can mention being in the ashram is it's a nice experience. It's, if you have, obviously you need to meditate, because that's like part of it. It's a big part of being in an ashram. There's monks there that live, they have full shaved heads, which mine is naturally doing, unfortunately. They have lots of full-time, like volunteers and full-time volunteers living there. And you eat twice a day. You can eat more if you wish. It's not like a law, but yeah, generally there's two free meals, and accommodation is also free. So it's very, like, you're very well taken care of. There's some famous temples there, and the food is delicious. It's not so spicy. There's a non-spicy section. So yeah, you can find out about that. It's Isha Yoga Center. Obviously you would have to be more involved with the meditation side or yoga side, which is more, if you, that would more be a reason of you to stay there. So yeah, this after 2020 I came back and I went into quarantine. I did quarantine in Sydney for 2 weeks, and then I did 2 weeks again in my house in Perth it was on August 2020, and it was very very difficult. I did obviously 4 consecutive weeks of quarantine. 2 were inside an enclosed hotel room, which was absolutely difficult, like no fresh air, only, you know, AC. So for me, like, fresh air is such a big thing. I don't know why I didn't complain at the time, but so the first day I pretty much had like a panic attack. I did this Shambhavi Mahamudra Kriya, and like you know, it was a really, the Kriya had never worked that powerfully before, that meditation. It just completely settled me, and I felt absolutely fine. Like, I didn't have to even move from this room. Obviously the hard times continued once the effects of the meditation sort of wore off. Like, I sort of felt you know, this being in this enclosed environment for the next 2 weeks. I couldn't wrap my head around it, but I got through it. And obviously the 2 weeks quarantine I did in my home was not so bad, because I had my outdoor, we had a pool also, so that was fine. So yeah, I went back to a normal life, and I then went again in 2021. I came for a 7-month program, and called Sadhana, which is like meditation practices, yoga every day. It's a more intense program. And yeah, and then till now I have been pretty much living here. Now I'm living outside the ashram. still doing yoga and meditation every day. And I got married in last year, around this time. So that's been a huge change as well, for people back home as well, knowing that. So I'm really lucky, really blessed. I have a beautiful wife, and I have these tools of meditation, yoga, because for me they are tools. Again, people think of Indian culture, and people think of Buddhism, and people think of things, even Christianity, people think of it as a religion, but for me, even Christianity, it like, in my understanding, Jesus was just a great teacher and a guru, and he offered his disciples ways of becoming more divine, or ways of becoming more blissful and happy, which is the crux of doing any spiritual process. Is you want to become you realize that you're miserable, but you want to become happy, and you start searching, how do you be happy? So so that in that sense, I'm very lucky for these tools that I have, because yeah, for me they are not, it's not some religion, it's I don't believe in anything. I have a set of tools, and they've made my experience divine, or they've made my experience really like pleasant, and they've made my experience more magical. So it's like if you employ them, they work. It's not that you have to believe in something, or you have to have some great teacher, or like there's some God somewhere sitting, making everything happen. It's more about you make it happen yourself, because I don't think you need to wait to go somewhere to experience heaven. I think it's possible for everyone right here, right now. And what steps they'll take to do is the main thing. So how would you start meditating? If I can share, like I myself started with the app on the App Store, on the Apple, my iPhone, and it worked wonders. I would recommend it for sure. Like, you just start doing simple mindful meditations. But if you want to learn meditation in its really purest form, like, not, it's difficult to say purest, but it's the Isha is offering meditation and yoga itself that's closest to the actual source of it. Because like yoga, the way yoga is being done in Western countries, which I also did. I did this hot yoga, this Bikram yoga I started with, and then I did this vinyasa flow. It definitely really made me feel well, and it does work, and it's fine if you're doing that, it's no issue. But if you do want to, go more into the depth of experience, this yoga and this meditation is coming from a really close source of where it comes from. Obviously India, you're not just learning it from Australia. So there's meditations on the Sadhguru app, and actually in a couple of days they're launching this Miracle of Mind, which is will include meditations and really supportive things that you can do. So I would really recommend that. It looks like it's going to be a big movement. And there's classical Hatha Yoga in Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, all the major cities, Brisbane. There's classical Hatha Yoga teachers, and what classical Hatha Yoga is it's more, like I said, it's closer to the source. It's more like how yoga used to be imparted. It's not so much being in front of a mirror and being with a lot of people, which is like what I would say is studio yoga. So if you want to learn that, you can also reach out to me and we can get you in touch with some Hatha Yoga teachers. So yeah, so if I can differentiate this Hatha Yoga, actually yoga is, I don't see meditation as a different thing. It's yoga itself, but the physical aspect of yoga, which is mainly what people think of yoga in West, is called Hatha Yoga or Hatha Yoga, which that's like the actual term for it, which is supportive in becoming or getting into a state of yoga, which is the whole union and experience, because it's not just about some postures. For me, my very life is yoga. I do physical postures. I do this classical Hatha Yoga, but I do this meditation also. So for me, even everything I do, from the way I eat food and the way I sit and just how I be in around me, is, for me, it's yoga. So if you would like to have this deeper experience, you can reach out to me, or you can search yourself Isha Foundation, maybe Isha Foundation Australia. You can search that online. You can find out when there's yoga programs happening. It's one of the most, you can give me anything in this world, in this existence, I will not take it, because for me it's that important. I agree that you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to drink water, but for me it's like meditation and yoga is like the biggest thing that's missing in this world. And because people are coping somehow, people are coping with things like by drugs or alcohol. The way the society is structured is, in the Western societies, mainly is people cope on the weekends for how the week was, or so I understand it, but these inner tools, like I mentioned, these tools and these these ways of living are slowly being presented from Eastern cultures, which they originate from. So this will slowly bring people out of it. So if you are feeling like you want to experience something more and find out more about life, it's not only for you, but also people who are feeling like they want to change, or they want to go beyond a certain compulsion they have or suffering. It's like one of the biggest things you can give to yourself is tools for self-transformation. So thank you so much for listening to me. If you listen to all of this, thank you.